You are listening to the Estheticians Earning More podcast with Brittany Hagemann, episode number 160. Welcome to the Estheticians Earning More podcast. On this podcast, we talk about how to love your esthetician business without the hustle, exhaustion, or overwhelm as it booms into a successful business. I teach simple ways how to approach your business that gives you your life back while still growing a profitable business. I grew BLH Beauty in San Diego to a six-figure business, and I learned a lot along the way, which I'm excited to share with you here. So let's get started. Do you want to make $100,000 revenue in your esthetician business? If so, I would love to show you how. I want to invite you to coach with me in my one-to-one coaching program. It's completely customizable. The way that it works is we sit down and figure out what you've been doing in your business that hasn't been working, and then make a very specific plan that I help you follow over the course of 6 months to get it done. We meet weekly for 30 minutes and discuss exactly what went well that week and we're going to do next week, whether it's your pricing needs to be raised, or you need to have boundaries with your clients, or if you need to learn how to sell skincare, or you need to niche down and you're doing way too many services and not making money, or all of the above. Whatever the issue is, whatever the reason is you're not making money, we'll figure it out together and we will grow your business into a really profitable business that's sustainable, that you love, and that really helps people. I cannot wait to be your coach and to work with you. To learn more, go to the link in the show notes. And with that, on with today's episode. My goodness. Hi. Happy Monday. I am so excited to share with you today's episode. It is with my good friend, esthetician, Brittany Wood, the owner of Soledad Mountain Spa in San Diego. We share our history together. She's actually been on the podcast one time before when she was just starting out her business. And she shares in this episode how she grew her business to over a six-figure business in less than 3 years through networking, and how she talked to people and got her name out there, and then eventually how she worked with influencers and still working with influencers that has now made her so booked that she can't even accommodate her current clients, which is another problem all in itself. So if you really need to grow your business and you really hate social media and you feel like you cannot crack that egg, or you don't want to crack that egg, today's episode is for you. Like, get a pen and paper out, take notes. She gives so many tips, so much advice. I guarantee you're going to walk away with so many amazing tips. So thank you so much for listening. Enjoy my friend Brittany Wood, and I'll be back next week for another episode.
Welcome to the podcast, Brittany. I'm so excited to have you back. You have been on the podcast before, but it's been a long time.
I'm excited. I'm ready. I want to do it 3-4 more times.
Great. I'll always have you on as a guest. So tell everyone about yourself. I know we're both named Brittany, and we spell the same way.
So my name's Brittany. I am a solo SD in San Diego. I am about halfway through my 3rd year. I actually was an acne client of Brittany, the other Brittany.
Me? Yeah.
I want to say like 2017, 2018.
I think it was 2018 to 2019. Yeah, because I don't think I met you in 2017. So yeah, I think it's 2018.
Okay, 2018. She obviously helped me clear my skin. And it really just kind of slowly pivoted my life towards acne. I was one of those people that during COVID that decided to make a job change and quit my job, went to SD school. And here I am right now.
3.5 years later. And so what made you decide to become an esthetician? Was it because of your acne journey and getting clear?
Honestly, it was so many things. My mom is a nail technician, so I've been in spa world kind of my whole life. I've always been into skin. I just didn't realize career-wise that I wanted to be into skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like every acne specialist, when you're trying to figure out your own skin because nobody else is figuring it out for you. Wink, wink, derms. No, I'm joking. I just really hit a point where I was trying to live with my acne. I was just like, okay, my skin's just always going to be like this. I'm going to have to learn how to cover it up. And I'm going to have to learn how to still go out in public and be around people. And then I was like, well, let's just try one more thing. And so once my skin cleared with Face Reality and working with Britt, it really just made me think, I can do this for other people. I'm tired of the skincare scams. I'm ready to help other people out. I don't want people to be in this hamster wheel like I was.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of full circle. When I went to SD school, it just hit the nail on the head. Wow. I went to school during COVID. And so the first 3 weeks were like online, and I was dying to be in person, like dying to be in person. It was torture.
I remember.
And so I don't know. It was just one of those things that kind of hit me from so many ends. I've always been in the spa world because of my mom. My skin wasn't doing well, and I finally figured it out and felt like I could help other people do it. And then COVID just pushed me. It was time for change. So
yeah. And so out of school, you got a job, right?
Yes. So I actually started applying for jobs at spas while I was still in school.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up getting a job at a spa in the town that I live in.
Sure.
And started training little tiny bits here and there because, you know, people weren't really in the spa, and it was very just touch and go training for, oh my gosh, I want to say like 6 months. It was so rough. It felt like everything was in slow motion.
Yes, it does feel that way.
Yes.
Especially when you start, 100%. Yes.
And it was really hard to find a spot. I mean, it was COVID, so of course, but I mean, when I talk to new SVs now and they're looking for work, I really feel for them because I live in San Diego where there's 25 spas on every corner and was still having a hard time finding a job. And so, yeah, I started in school because I was like, okay, I'm going to apply for state board right before I'm done. And I was just trying to push things along. And so I did work at a spa in San Diego for, I want to say it was 8 months.
Okay. Yeah.
Before I left and went solo.
Yeah. And how do you decide that it was time to go solo?
So I basically was in a situation where I kind of went and applied at all the bougiest places in town.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't do a lot of good research about where I was looking for a job because I was just looking for a job, honey.
Yeah.
You know. But it just wasn't working out. The situation wasn't working out. She was really in growth mode and trying to expand her business. She had just opened a second location. I was taking on a lot of responsibility at that job, like doing the Face Reality orders and working on acne clients and designing the protocols and all these things. And I wasn't really getting like the hands-on training that I wanted.
Okay, that makes sense.
And just in that period of kind of doing it myself, I was like, why don't I just go do this for myself?
I can do it myself.
And then just little things were happening that were just really kind of pushing me to be like, you know what, this isn't the right path for me. And so let's get out of here and try something different.
Okay.
I'm very lucky that in the house that I currently live in, I had a spare room. And so I actually started out of my house. Obviously with friends, but I went door to door to my neighbors with my business cards. I went to the nail salon down the corner from me and talked to the owner and was like, hey, I don't have anything to do with nails or waxing or anything that you guys do. I just do acne. Can I please leave business cards here? You know, she was really sweet. She helped me out. And yeah, I really just started out of my house with, I think it was like 25, 26 people.
Yeah. And so this was where they didn't come from your job. They were
no, they did not come from my job. I was not allowed to take anybody. I obviously didn't even have that many people to take, to be honest. I mean, maybe 11 people in 8 months, you know, that was really, it really did feel like it was kind of like slow motion. And yeah, so I started out of my house, which was great, but also terrifying because you're having people in your house now.
House, yeah.
But it honestly went really well. And then
Okay, so you went door to door to your neighbors.
I did. Yes. Yes. I went to the
You knock on the door and be like, hey, they already knew you, I'm assuming.
Okay. So yes, I have a dog, so I do walk the neighborhood quite a bit. And so I really started with people that I knew. Like I'd see them out walking their dog too and be like, hey, like I have a business card. I started my own business. Like, can you come by and check me out? And yeah, they would kind of be like, oh, go see Carrie down on the corner. And it would kind of escalated a little bit from there.
Mm-hmm.
But the nail salon was really kind of what picked my business up enough to start renting a studio.
Okay.
Which my first studio I actually rented from another amazing esthetician here in San Diego. I basically started one day just renting one.
Remember that? And you were still at home when the rest of the time. I remember this.
I was still at home the rest of the time. But yeah, and then I rented 2 days from her, 3 days, 4 days. I was renting every minute she wasn't there. I had to beg her for more minutes because I didn't want to leave because it was like a 2-minute drive from my house. And she's so amazing. I still meet up with her and get coffee to this day. I just adore her. But yeah, and then just really I had to go solo at that point.
So I want to go back to the nail salon. So you walked into the nail salon and you're like, hi. Like you said, I don't do waxing or nails.
Yeah.
And then they were like, it's fine. So you just left your card there and people just from their card?
Yeah, she let me leave a stack of business cards there. I think it was 10. And I did get my nails done there multiple times before I did all this.
Right. So you had a relationship with them.
Yeah, I didn't know the owner. Her name's Terry, but I kind of like knew her. We knew of each other.
Okay.
And yeah, she let me leave a stack of business cards there. I went to the smoothie spot down the street that had business cards all over the top of the trash can. I left my business cards there. I was at the cocktail bar up the street in the women's bathroom. There was a business card board there. I'd stick my business cards there. I was littering everywhere. Okay.
So how did you, I want to, so, okay, for the listeners, so Brittany and I have obviously known each other for a long time. And we've been in a relationship. I know Brittany, but I want for people who are not naturally like the idea of going into a nail salon and leaving their cards sounds horrendously scary. So how did that tell us more about your mental thoughts going into it, or tell us about that.
So I'm a Leo and I'm just naturally an extrovert, and really very chatty, and I just go for it. Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? She's gonna say no. Well, I'm gonna ask again in 2 weeks and see if you change your mind. I think that people are so much more willing to help than you think.
Yeah.
You put in the footwork to really look at their situation. Like if I went in there and she had girls doing facials in the back, that would have looked so not good.
Yeah.
But I think that, since I did, when I went and dropped business cards off of a smoothie place, no, I didn't even have to talk to anybody to do that. I still bought a smoothie when I was there, just to I just think it's good to think about the other people in the situation, because you are in a sense trying to get a little something from them in their business that's already established. And I think just that friendliness and that kindness goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think what you said before, you didn't just walk in one day, you had been getting your nails done. You had started developing a relationship, and it wasn't, you got your nails done one day, you left business cards the next day, you had 10 new clients the next day. That's not the line that happened.
I wish, but
how long do you think from when you first got your first nail appointment and before you even left your cards, did you see the results of those people coming in?
I mean, I want to say over a month.
Yeah.
I think they sat there for a while. I was going to get my nails done every 2 weeks, look at the business cards. If I'd count them. I'm like, okay, there's 6, I was like, what's going on here? Just also too, I wanted to know, is this a good place for me to leave them?
Yeah.
10 are sitting there, pack them up and take them down the street somewhere.
Yeah. And so so I think this is such a great thing because you build a relationship. You weren't expecting instant results. You weren't like, oh my gosh, no one's booked a facial after 1 week. I'm just gonna like go and cry. I never do this again. And then you evaluated. You're like, okay, there's 6. So people have taken the cards, like you realize if it had been a month and no one's taking cards, like maybe this is not the place.
Yeah.
So, like those things are so important because you're taking data from what you're doing. You're not just doing it and being like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you're really like, okay, this is where like you're not taking it super personally if people don't take your cards.
No, it's not personal. I mean, it's just something you have to do in the beginning. If you don't do it, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
And so I was solo out of my house at that point. It was, we got to do something. But I left business cards everywhere. I'm so happy that I did that in the beginning because I have talked to SDs who have paid for ads, done all kinds of crazy things. And I was literally spending gas, time, and business cards. That's it. That's all I spent on. I think it was a low cost way to get my cards out there and get them in front of people. I think the nail salon was really helpful because I know Terry occasionally would be like, oh, go see. If it was a client she was super comfortable with, she told me like, hey, I've been handing out your card, to so-and-so, let me know if they come in. And so the smoothie spot, it was just sitting on a garbage can. People can grab them if they want. But I got clients from both.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I think like, again, if we go back to this is relationship building 101. Yeah. You weren't just going out asking for people to come in. You were building relationships first. And then you talked about your business. So tell me about when you talked about your business, were you like, oh, hey, I have a business, whatever? Like, tell me a little bit about it. Because I think this is a lot of people get hung up on it. They like don't know what to say or how to say it.
So I had really bad imposter syndrome. Brittany knows this about me. I had the worst imposter syndrome, I don't know, known to mankind, but maybe second. I wouldn't even tell people like, oh, hey, I have a business. I'd be like, hey, I just graduated esthetician school. Like I really had to, every time I would go out and talk to my neighbors, I would come home and be like, okay, that was about a 2 out of 10. Rewrite
the shot. This is horrible.
Just like rewrite the script. And I would
kind of, you evaluated it sounds like.
Yeah, just kind of, I would talk it over even with my girlfriends sometimes, and they would be like, okay, you literally sound terrified to give this person a facial, so get it together. And also, friends give you great tough love too. Sometimes talking to my friends who had nothing to do with being an esthetician was like some of the best advice ever.
Mm-hmm.
We're more like clients
than
estheticians were.
Yeah.
And so, my friends, they gave it to me. Okay. I really just started practicing more and more. Like, I just started a solo business. I left this spa in the city I'm from. I'm out of my house right now. Come get a treatment for me. Like, I would love to treat you, really making it more about them. Like, I want to treat you. I want to pamper you. I want you to come over and see what I've got going on. And I wasn't totally niched down to acne in the beginning. So, I was offering anti-aging treatments and whatever. And so, it was very, very uncomfortable and awkward. But the other option was to sit at home and just hope clients find me at my house, which is impossible.
And so you pounded the pavement essentially, right? The hours that you should have been booked with clients, you were out trying to meet people.
I mean, it's kind of the funny saying of your time is free until it's not, and I wasn't making any money. So I was trying to figure out a way too. So.
And then at what point, I feel like around this time when you had clients because we worked together. It's so funny because Brittany is my client again, but as an esthetician. At the time I had a group coaching program, which I've now turned into a one-on-one program. I found for most people, they really need a little bit more support than the group coaching program offered. So we worked together. Was that like, how long were you into your solo business?
I want to say maybe 4 or 6 months. It wasn't very far.
Yeah. Yeah, you had clients. You were still working out of your house as well as renting. I think you were like around that time starting to rent that other room.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we did that. And then what point did you start? Because we were focusing on that program was being an acne specialist. So what point did you completely go to the acne specialist and say,
well, it was kind of a mistake that I made that made me pivot completely towards acne.
okay?
But I think it was so in the group with you as well, because we just talked so much about niching down. I was kind of the esthetician that knew I wanted to niche down to acne. I just didn't really know how or feel like I could, because I was like, I need any client right now.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't care what facial you need. I'm going to figure it out. And then I made a new SD mistake. I went and bought a bunch of really expensive back bar. And then I started getting acne clients and wasn't using any of it and was like, oh, okay. Wish I didn't do that.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah. I don't like to waste money. So once I did that, I was like, well, we're niching down to acne. That's kind of it.
Okay. And then any other things that you struggled with at the beginning as a new business owner? Because you were networking and then people started referring people and you kind of stopped crowding the pavement as at that certain point.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I really struggled with in the beginning was once I did have a little bit of money coming in, I was ready to rent the room and I was really ready to kind of like start cooking with gas. I was really scared to do that. I was so scared about making a bad decision.
Yeah, I remember.
What if I can't pay for this room? What if I don't get it was just every negative thought you could think of. And it was interesting because it was like, but you're getting clients and money's coming in and you made this one back bar mistake, but otherwise things are going pretty good. It was just kind of like, why are you?
I remember us having these conversations and being like, well, what's the money looking like? And you're like telling me, and I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, please explain. Like, is there something I'm not seeing? Because black and white, it's fine. Where is the disconnect?
Yeah, just letting all those fears get in, really. I was so worried about making a wrong decision, but it's kind of the point is to make a couple of wrong decisions, right? Like, if it goes perfect, I feel like you're doing something wrong.
I don't think any business has ever been that in the history of time.
Nothing. You have to mess up to learn from your mess ups.
Mm-hmm.
And the mess ups usually aren't that bad looking back.
No, yeah. I mean, I think you are like so many of my successful clients and that you're a great student and whatever I told you, you took it and you literally ran with it. It wasn't like, oh, okay, I guess I'll think about that one day. It was like, oh no, I'm going to do that times 100. But if you have that personality of that tenacity, you want everything to go perfectly because you're afraid that if it doesn't go that way, it's like, that means you didn't do it right versus that's just kind of how it can happen. Sometimes you can do everything right and it still doesn't mean it's going to go the way you want it to go.
Totally. Imposter syndrome, the fear, the anxiety, just all these things. You feel like if you make one little mistake, your business is going to be a failure. And it's like, get ready. You're about to make 300 million. The business is still going to be great.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I think now it's funny. Sometimes I catch myself making a few different mistakes. I'm like, oh, no big deal. And I'm like, okay, hang on a second. It's so different. It's night and day from in the beginning when you're trying to build. I think you're trying to build and your clientele building quickly is equal to success for you. And it's just not.
Talk more about that. That's a really interesting thing that I think people don't understand.
I think in the beginning when I went solo, when I was out of my house, and especially when I started renting my first room, I equated being booked to my business being successful and myself being people. And that's just not the way it is in the beginning. You know, it's going to take time to build. If you don't take the time to build it right, it's just going to be a house of sticks. Like, you're going to be working with clients you don't want to work with. You're going to be doing things in the treatment room you don't want to be doing. There's going to be all these facets to your business that aren't set up the way that you want to set it up. And I think when you have that time in the beginning, just because you don't have a client, it doesn't mean you don't have work to do.
Yes.
Because I would take days where I only had one client and be like, oh, I only have like 1 hour of work to do today. And it's like, no, you have 8 hours to do this today. And so really just removing that idea that being a fully booked esthetician equals success. It's not a healthy idea to center your business and your self-worth around.
100%.
Like, we all do it, but
we all do it. I think that's I remember one of the things we talked about was your self-worth is not how successful your business is. And the more that you can separate the two, the better you can be at growing your business.
Yeah. I
know, reflects on your self-worth.
And you'll meet, like, I know a lot of estheticians in the industry. Networking is, I feel, kind of one of my superpowers a little bit. And you'll meet estheticians that are fully booked, so stressed out, not making enough money. And so I think really realizing the time that you have in the beginning is to be thinking about the inner workings of your business. And the more seamless you make the experience, the better you'll retain clients when they come.
So let's talk about that. So you had these random people that booked from wherever. How did you turn those into clients that were staying, that were buying products? How did you turn those and then to specializing in acne? How did that transition?
So I had a good amount of acne clients, but there were definitely still, I would say I was about half and half acne and anti-aging.
Yeah.
And really my acne clients were clearing. And so they were coming back because they were like, oh, my skin's never looked this good before, you know, and it was great for me. I was like, please come back because I want to see where this goes, you know?
Yeah.
My anti-aging clients, I kind of explained to them, especially when I started renting my room, that I wasn't going to be doing the relaxing facials anymore. It was going to be all chemical exfoliation. And so they had the decision to be like, okay, do I want to try and see this new thing that she's got? Or I'm just looking to relax and that doesn't sound like my thing. I would say maybe half of the anti-aging people came to check me out. Some stayed, some didn't. But it just allowed for more hours for acne clients. And the more acne clients I cleared, they just turn into little walking, talking billboards for you, essentially, because they're so happy. And so as soon as they'd clear, I'd ask for a review. Ask them, do you have any friends who would be interested in working with me and doing what you did? And really just kind of being vulnerable and putting yourself out there. I really hated asking for reviews in the beginning. I was like, this is the cringiest thing I have ever done. And then when I realized, you know, I didn't really have like a referral program per se. I was really hesitant about giving discounts because I was not trying to give away money at that point. And so really just putting yourself out there and being like, I'm so happy that you're clear. Do you have any friends that want to be clear too?
Yeah.
And that really, I think, built the relationship as well to continue that client to come back, because now I'm seeing their friend and now I know their roommate, and you know, their roommate's clearing, they're talking about the results together. And it's funny now, I joke, like, if I know you, I probably know every female around you. Like, I know your sister, your cousin. It's just like crazy sometimes how much of a circle it is. But I think just really talking to your clients and like letting them know, I'm just as happy as you are that your skin is clear. Like, I am elated for you. And not just being like, okay, you're clear, have a great life.
Yes.
Like, I really was open to about clients being like, look, now that you're clear, like, let's do this other peel that I've got. And like,
Yeah.
kind of ingraining in them that like, just because you're clear, your skin health doesn't end here with me. Like, we're actually going to go to the moon now together. So get ready.
And so again, you go back to what we were talking about earlier is you built really good relationships with your clients, helped them get good results through that relationship. Because obviously, like whether you do acne or you're teaching someone how to exfoliate so they don't have ingrown hairs or different whatever it is in whatever you do, if you're doing microchanneling and someone has like acne scars they're getting rid of or fine lines, wrinkles, part of that is building that relationship with them so that they trust you, so that they'll refer you to people. It's not just an in and out, one and done service.
Yeah. It needs to be about their skin health and their journey. Like, when my acne clients clear, they want to work on the hyperpigmentation. When the hyperpigmentation's gone, they want to work on more age management protocols. And I think it's really important. Sometimes acne specialists, I think, focus so much on acne and getting people clear, but it's like, you don't want to lose those people when they're clear. You want them to be your client for like the rest of their life, potentially. I know estheticians, the woman, Kate, who I used to rent from, she's been an esthetician for 10 years. I mean, she's had clients for 10 years. And that's kind of the goal for me. Like, that's amazing. And yeah, you just really want to build on that and let them know that just because they're clear, their skin journey isn't over.
Right.
If they don't want it to be.
Right. Okay. So how did you handle, you said you had those anti-aging clients when you moved into the renting the room, and then half of them decided to come, and then half of them continued to stay. How did you handle that? Because that feels very scary, I think, for people who are listening, and like that's like a lot.
Yeah.
Try to, you know what I mean? So I don't necessarily recommend that you guys do that. Brittany's situation, she had money to pay for things, so she wasn't like living. But mentally, how did you deal with that?
So it was definitely really scary. And honestly, I think the way that I got through it was, it was kind of in the group and the one-on-ones with you where it was like, I have to niche down. It's kind of now or never, and it's going to hurt my business if I don't do it now.
Yeah.
And just clinging to that idea and being like, I know this is scary. It kind of feels like starting over again. And that was really hard. But if I don't niche down, I'm going to continue bringing these people with me. And it's kind of like time to let them go because I'm not doing these age management treatments anymore. And so I didn't want to buy that back bar anymore. I didn't want to do the hand and arm massage anymore. There were so many things I wanted to let go of. And so it just kind of was that clinging, I have to do this now. I have to. It's going to hurt me. It's going to slow things down. It's going to hold me back. Do it.
And you knew you could continue to build acne clients. You knew you had the skills of networking.
Yep. I actually changed my business card from saying Brittany Wood Esthetician to Brittany Wood Acne Specialist. I think $25 to get a new set of business cards. And I went right back to all the places that I did before and then some. And really started pushing the acne narrative to people. I was not even saying the word esthetician because I thought people were getting confused.
Mm-hmm.
I was like acne specialist, acne expert, acne, like I was really just trying to reframe it. And it's funny because I actually got more clients that way from clients that I already had. Because when I started being like, I am an acne specialist, they were like, oh, kind of a light bulb moment.
Yes.
And I think just that verbiage alone helped me attract clients that were perfect for me.
Mm-hmm.
And really, once I saw that, I changed everything.
Okay, tell us more.
My website to talk about just acne. I changed my treatments and the descriptions about them to be just about acne.
Yep.
Like I committed at that point. It was a full send. It was a full send.
It was terrifying.
It was very scary, but I knew I had to do it. I knew that I wanted to do it. That was the thing too.
You believed in yourself. You believed you could do it as well.
I did. I believed that I could do it. I was clearing acne clients then, and I just wanted to do more of that. So anytime an anti-aging person was coming in, I was like, oh no, honey.
I remember feeling this. Oh, I like the person, but man, I don't do this.
Yeah. Like, I can't do any more hand and arm massage again. And so yeah, full send, commit, whatever you're niching down to, cling to it.
Yeah. And then you owned it and you went everywhere you went. You told people you were an acne specialist.
I did not shut up about
Exactly.
I did not shut up about it to anybody that would listen or would not.
I tell people I did the same thing. Everyone in my life and everyone who I could possibly knew I did acne. There was no one that was like, I don't know what she does.
Yes.
There was none of that.
Yeah.
No one, they didn't understand the process of my process, but they knew that's what I did.
Yes.
So yeah, there was no confusion of like, I think she's an esthetician now. I don't know. It's just she wax. I don't know what she does. There was none of that. Everyone knew.
Yes.
Everyone knew.
Upfront.
And yeah, and I had a lot of friends. Most of my friends didn't have acne, so they weren't coming in, but they knew people who would. I mean, it's amazing when you put yourself out there and you say, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm looking for. If you know anyone who struggles with acne, please send them my way. It's a totally different vibe than just being like, oh yeah, I'm an esthetician. I have my own business. Like,
half the time people would be like, what's an esthetician? I'm like, oh, okay. Like I gotta make this crystal clear.
Yeah.
You know?
And make it easy for people to understand.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's when we use the esthetician terms. People don't understand what we're saying. And then it's just like, oh, okay. It's like there's just the kind of conversation ends because they don't really know.
Yeah.
Versus you're saying exactly what it is that you do. And people are like, yeah, they may not have acne, they're never come and see, but maybe their knees swell.
Yeah, exactly. It's once they know, and do with this information what you will, you know. And I really find never shutting up about it helped immensely, because I think people can get distracted, especially when you're like, oh, I'm an esthetician. People are like, okay, like half the time, truly, they don't even know what that is. You know, I die at the memes online for like, oh, you cut hair. It's like,
or they think you're a doctor or like a nurse.
Yeah.
Like an RN that does Botox. You know, there's people who don't know. They have no idea.
Yeah. Just crystal clear.
Okay, so then you took your networking, relationship building skills. I think also people think of networking, Brittany, I wanted to touch on this, is people think of like a networking event, not to say these won't work, but a networking event where there's like punch in the corner and you have a name tag of like, hello, my name is Brittany. And you're like walking around shaking hands of like old men who own like boring businesses. And you're like, I think that's what people think of when they think of networking. I know that's what I would think of if I was like, networking. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But you did do some like talking to strangers.
Yeah.
Businesses, but you really went where you already had relationships built and then expanded on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think kind of just how I decided, oh, I'm going to leave business cards at this nail salon. When I was walking down the street, I wouldn't talk to my neighbor's husband about my business. I would wait until she was walking the dog and I'd be like, hi, you know.
Yeah.
I think thinking about, you know, like all press isn't good press. You're not just like, you want to think about where you're spending your time. And so when I saw my women neighbors out, I would absolutely be going up to them and talking to them. But I'm not talking, you know, the 16-year-old boy who lives next door to me, you know, unless you just want to get some practice in me. But you want to be mindful about how you're spending your time. And that can take a while to figure out too, you know. That's really why I went back to the nail salon and back to the smoothie place and would count how many business, because I was like, is this worth my time to keep doing this, you know? Is it better at this place down the street or whatever? and just kind of fact checking it if you can.
I love that you counted the cards. I've never heard anyone do that. That's the most brilliant thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I love it so much.
I just felt like it helped me be like, this is worthwhile for me to do right now at this time. Because when you're trying to grow, you're like, how do I grow? Okay, I'll go talk to people. Who do I talk to? And I have done some weird networking events where it wasn't a home run, but if you really look at it, anywhere you can network. It doesn't have to be an event. I was networking at the nail salon, actually, one of my most loved clients. She's been with me since I was out of my house, found me at the nail salon because my best friend and I went and got our nails done. My best friend was blabbing about how she loved her skin. I had just given her a facial at my house before we went. And this client of mine leaned over and was like, "Are you an esthetician? Can I get your business card?" And she's probably referred me, I want to say, over 20 people in 3 years.
Wow.
So it doesn't have to be a networking event. You could almost turn anything into a networking situation.
Yeah. It's just talking to people, telling them what you do.
Yeah, I think
building relationships,
like seizing the moment a little bit too. If somebody even gives you the inkling that they're like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" Networking moment.
Yeah, tell them. And I think like what you said before, practicing with your friends and people who are not in the industry. I always tell my clients, like, practice with your spouse, practice with your friend, practice with your mom, saying what it is that you do. I'm pretty sure I gave you that advice too. And it's like, because that's when you'll realize that people are like, "I don't know what you just said," like that makes no sense. But you're like, "What?" Because that's how you learn. You have to put yourself out there. You have to practice. And then once you do that, you get better at it. And even if you go to those networking events with the warm punch and there's no one there to talk to, that you actually, by talking to people who you'll never see again, who are never going to come in for a facial, most likely, you're going to get better at talking about it.
Yeah. Practice makes perfect. It's awkward. Yep. You push through it. You go home, think about it forever. They never think about it again. Who cares? Just, you got to do it. But I think only thinking about networking and events is not just limiting, but you're kind of backing yourself in a corner. You need to seize opportunities. And also, I think something really important when you are trying to network is stop selling yourself and just explain what you're doing. Yes. I have talked to so many people in networking situations that are trying to sell me on their business, and it does come off as salesy. And if they just explained clearly, short, like, you don't want to ramble on and have the person get lost. I did that a lot in the beginning with clients. Just explaining clearly what you do and leaving it at that. You don't know if that person's a potential client or not. I was somebody who never went up to acne clients in public ever. I never did, and I never will do that. But you just want to explain what you do and leave it at that. If they're interested, they'll ask more questions and really kind of like read the room a little bit. Read the room.
I think in my podcast I just did this last week was about that, where it was like, read the conversation. If they're like, "Oh, really?" Tell me their eyes are sparkling. Their face is interested. Tell them more. If they're like, "That's great," and they're like dead inside, just let it go.
See ya.
We don't keep talking about it.
Yeah, and I don't think in the beginning when I was networking, I don't think I realized I was, honestly.
Yourself.
Yeah, I think maybe just in this past year, I've really realized like, oh, I'm good at networking, like I am the type of person who, I can go to an event by myself and I do feel cringe, but I just push through. But take a friend. I've taken a friend so many times to things like that. If you don't like it there, you just leave. I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to go and see what those events are about, but limiting yourself to just events, don't do that.
Yeah.
Because any opportunity could be networking with people. I'm sure we'll get into it in this episode a little bit about how extreme my networking has
Yeah,
gotten.
we're gonna get yes, this.
So yeah,
Don't limit yourself just to the nail salons or just to your neighbors. I really want to see that if you're listening, like there's so many different places that you continue to meet people. And if you had one client, that means you had 8 more hours that you were meeting people. It was like, well, that was my client that day. I'm just gonna hope they're gonna refer someone to me. Because you also like didn't put all of your eggs in one basket. You were like, well, if my clients don't refer people to me, I'm not gonna grow my business. That's a lot of pressure just for your clients. Like you didn't put pressure on one of these avenues. You put everything into every avenue, and then whatever stuck. Whatever didn't stuck, you're like, that's fine.
Oh yeah. I mean, I left business cards at the Pilates studio that I go to. You'd think that every girl in there would pick one up. I never got a client from the Pilates studio. And I went like every day, like
This is what I'm saying.
ever,
You never know.
you just don't know until you try, and you gotta try. So
Right. So let's talk about the networking that was really made your business boom in the last year, right? Would you say in the last year?
yeah, definitely. Yeah. So gosh, I'm like, how do I make this story a little short and sweet? So I moved into a new studio. That's 100% mine. And I needed some photos done for my Google business profile. I'm really big on reviews. I build the crap out of my Google business profile. And I kind of was Instagram surfing, found this photographer right in my area, looked at his work, was like, wow, he's pretty good. He came, took photos, talked to me about my business, and he was like, you know what? Like, my girlfriend has acne. Can I send her in? I'm like, sure, send her in, She came in, treated her skin. I ended up getting her clear, I want to say about 3 or 4 months in. It took a minute. She went off Spiro. It was, a huge thing.
Okay.
She got clear, and as wonderful acne clients do, they turn into little walking, talking billboards. And she basically was a part of this networking group in San Diego called the SD Network. It's created by this woman, Sam Score, who's amazing. And anytime somebody in this networking group would message, do you have an esthetician? My client was putting my name in there every time. And this networking group in San Diego called SD Network has, I think, over 5,000 girls in it at this point, and it's in San Diego in my area. And so, gosh, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 girls came in, and I always ask, how did you find me? And they kept saying the SD Network, the SD Network. And I'm like, what is this? Is this something I signed up for and forgot about? Like, I was so confused. And on like the 10th girl, I'm like, can you show me what that is? Because I had no idea. And when she showed me, I just was like stunned. I could see my client Sierra dropping my name in there. Being just, how this whole, like, it's not a Slack chat, but it's kind of like a Slack chat, all these women. And do you have a good hairstylist? Do you have a good dog sitter? Do you have a good esthetician? And I just could not believe how many clients I was getting from it. It was like 10 in 2 weeks or something. And so I reached out to Sam to basically say thank you to her, because I knew that she wasn't dropping my name in the SD Network, but I just wanted to thank her for even just providing this, because my business was really growing from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I invited her in for a free treatment. To say thank you and just meet her. She came in, she met me, she got a free treatment. We hit it off in the sense of both being like young women in San Diego, and it was just kind of like a little bit of a blossoming business friendship in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of chatted with her like, I really want to work with an influencer. If you know anybody in San Diego, they have to have acne, but like, could you talk to them for me, And immediately off the top of her head, 2 girls come up. And so I'm like, okay, perfect. And so one of the girls was already coming in to see me because my client, Sierra, who was dropping me an SD Network, was also commenting on people's TikToks when they talked about acne. And they're like, you need to go see Brittany. You need to go see Brittany. And so one of those influencers, her name's Callie Fuller, did decide to come in and see me, and I
Okay.
a little like influencer deal with her, you know. Essentially, I told her, "Hey, I don't want to tell you how to post your content. You're obviously very good at this." I think she has like over 300,000 followers between Instagram and TikTok. I was like, if you like what we're doing and if your skin is clearing, will you post about me? And we really honestly didn't have like set rules. Like,
Okay.
seamlessly wanted to almost naturally flow into her content as things were going well. So there wasn't pressure on the situation.
Okay.
Her skin started doing well. She posted about me. I mean, I think her reel that she has with me and doing the treatment is like over 30,000 views right now,
Wow.
which doesn't equal business, but it's great exposure. And clients just started pouring in from that.
Wow.
I
Now, do you give her free treatments?
I do. I give her free treatments. I also reached out to Face Reality when I started working with her and told them the situation of what we were doing, and they paid for her products
Okay.
for the first, I think, 3 months.
Okay.
And yeah, it just kind of escalated from there. She'll be with me close to, let's see, I think in December it'll be a year.
Wow.
She's clear right now. She looks amazing. And I still have her come for treatments. It's not necessarily every 2 weeks on the dot anymore. I actually cover her products for her now. And yeah, she posts when she comes in. Lately, I've been so busy, I actually tell her not to post because I can't handle any more people.
I know we just had a coaching call, me and Brittany, like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and she's like, I keep telling them not to post. And I was like, that's not the solution. We need to have another solution because you're not going to throw away money. Okay, so let's figure out another way to deal with this. Thank you. We had to
Figuring that part out.
like try to bring you back. I'm like, Brittany, this is not what we're doing.
Yeah. And then the other influencer Sam Score set me up with, her name's Kennedy Ferris. She's incredible. I want to say too, both Callie and Kennedy were already posting about acne before they started working with me. I think that's a really important part because you could work with any influencer, but like if they don't attract acne clients for you, that's maybe not going to be business for you. And so just I do think that was
Your pigmentation, if you're doing whatever, it needs to align with what they already are talking about.
yes. I thought that was, you know, Callie had videos on her TikTok talking about her skin and what to do. And, you know, I think it was really helpful in attracting people that they were already talking about skin. But Sam set me up with Kennedy. She actually reached out to Kennedy for me because I was like, I don't reach out to people about acne treatments, but if you set me up, I'm game. And so Kennedy came in, same deal with her. I'm like, I love your content. You obviously know what you're doing. I'm not going to tell you what to post, but if this starts working for you, like post about it. And she's great. She posts like 5 times a day. Like it is insane. She is like a workhorse. It's insane. But yeah, she started attracting acne clients for me, and I called Face Reality again and explained the situation to them. I gave Kennedy free treatments, and Face Reality covers her products. She actually has a little brand deal with Face Reality. Right now. She flew up a couple months ago, and she's in their June campaign for Acne Awareness Month. So that was really, really cool and exciting for her. And so proud. I felt like Kris Jenner. But it was, yeah, really just kind of allowing them, like, they know what they're doing. Look at their content. If you watch their content and watch not just how many people follow them, but their likes, their saves, their comments, like I didn't want to be like, okay, this is what I want you to post. And, you know, I really just kind of let them take hold of it. And I'm so happy that I did because it seamlessly went into their content. I have had so many friends and clients who watch their content and they're just like, it's such feel good skin content, you know? It's not them like, come down to Brittany's spa and buy this, you know, cleanser.
Right.
They're just genuinely talking about how it's going, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That genuine natural content attracts people that are just looking for answers, just like they were.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's been the greatest thing ever. I adore both Callie and Kennedy. I would say we're definitely friends now, obviously. And it's just been great working with them. They've helped me build my business up. And I do all kinds of things, you know, now and again for them. You know, I'll give them a bunch of math or color science or fun stuff that's not face reality related. Like I do try to give back to them, you know. But yeah, right now I'm like, don't post. They're winding the tripod up. I'm winding the tripod down. I'm like, oh, like not right now. I think in May or June was when I started my wait list. And so I'm just kind of navigating the chaos of how everything what. Yeah, it's just, and once you start working with one influencer, others kind of come in. Like I have a couple mom influencers right now who have been dealing with acne after having baby. And I have another girl who was on a couple episodes of The Bachelor who's seeing me now. And once you kind of get your name out there, it's easy to build off of it. You just have to put in the work to get your name out there.
Mm-hmm.
And really that client of mine, Sierra, who's also such a dear friend now, her boyfriend, Jared, still does all the photography and video work for my business. Like if she wouldn't have gotten cleared and had a good experience with me, that would have never happened. I mean, I feel like I work with a lot of influencers now, but I treat everybody exactly the same. Like they're all gold. I all want them clear just as bad as the other one. I don't put in more effort with my influencers than other clients. Like one of the funny things in the beginning, my client Kennedy, I gave her my personal phone number to check in on her, and she was just like, this is like such a VIP experience. I was like, oh no, I do this for every client. She was like, oh. I'm like, you're special, don't get me wrong, but like
You're special to everyone.
yeah. And she like, I think that really took her back because she was like, wow, you know, like it made her really be, because her followers are coming in to see me. And I think it really made her feel good that whoever comes in from her videos to see me is going to be treated exactly the way that I treat her.
Yes.
And you know, these people are building your business, so you want to build them up and you want to make sure that they're feeling taken care of, not taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
Influencers, I think, need to have a really thick skin because everybody's trying to use them. You know, everybody's trying to use them. But if you treat them well and think about both sides,
Mm-hmm.
the relationship can go so much better.
Mm-hmm.
If you're putting them in a corner and always telling them what to post and they're building your business and you're not giving anything back to them, it's that same feeling of when hotels call them for a reel. And like all these, you know, they get offered. One of my biggest things with Callie in the beginning was all the PR she gets. Every week I'd get a video of a box of PR of all these things. You know, they get all the free stuff in the world, but we don't always get treated wonderfully by those people, you know?
Sure. Yeah, they just treat him like a walking advertisement for them, not a person.
Yeah. And I don't think that either situation would have went as well if there wasn't that relationship between all of us. Like I set Callie and Kennedy up. Kennedy does internship work for Callie now, and you can really help build them up as well.
And again, it goes back to what you were saying in the beginning, relationship building, talking to people, treating them well. Like when you are building the relationship with photographer's girlfriend, that wasn't because you hoped she knew people. Yeah, influencers or anything. It was genuinely that experience. You were making the best. It could be whether she referred 500 people to you or 0 people to you.
Oh yeah. I mean, all of it is a risk, right? Like you're never really sure, but it's funny at the time. I mean, when my photographer was like, oh, my girlfriend has acne, I'm like, send her in, you know, because I'm just so into acne.
Yeah.
You just never know what somebody can turn into, honestly. I mean, there's so many little connections in my clientele. I have a group of moms that come all the way from Santee to see me. And I mean,
that's far.
I think I know every woman in the neighborhood at this point, you know, like it has nothing to do with being an influencer. They're amazing clients.
Yeah.
Sent me probably just as many people as Kennedy and Callie have found me. And
Yeah.
it's, you need to have multiple avenues, I think, too. If you're only focusing on working with influencers, it might be a little bit harder.
Mhm. Absolutely. That's what I said. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. It's not just, oh, relying on the nail salon to build your business, or relying on people in the building that you work with to refer people to you, or relying on, you know, the current clients you have to refer people. Like, you can't rely on any one group of people or one resource or just relying on Instagram to build your business. Not to say this, not to say that you can't do that and it doesn't work, because it does work for people, but it can work slower, or it can just not work the way you thought it was going to work. So that's why it's important to do all of the things.
Yeah. It's, you need to have multiple pathways to reach people. And especially, you know, maybe you have one pathway where you're not necessarily attracting the type of clients that you want. You know, maybe you're left business cards somewhere and now you're getting all these anti-aging people. Like, you want to pay attention to that too, because you don't want to be spending energy where it's not going to work out well for you.
Yep.
Just like I said about working with influencers, I think it's really important to find somebody who already talks about some part of the industry that you're in, because it won't seem natural if all of a sudden they come in and start talking about something they've never talked about before and they're talking about your business. But I think if they've already been talking about it, there's that little bit of connection that you need there.
And you may find, like, you'll have a client that you think would be a great influencer, and then they don't show up for their appointment, or they never the post doesn't go anywhere, and you just have to keep trying. You know, you can't just go, well, it didn't work with that one particular thing, so it's never going to work. No, you just have to, like you said, like, you're getting anti-aging clients from this one referral. Like, that's not what you're doing. So you have to be like, okay, well, that's not working the way I wanted it to work. I have to figure out something else.
Yes, definitely. Keep trying new things. I mean, just like I said, when I was dropping business cards off, I was going everywhere I thought young women with skincare concerns might be. And a lot of them didn't work out. The Pilates one, I was like, this is going to be a hit. I never got a client, not one time from there. And so it's just good to try. Get yourself out there, try. And I mean, like, Sam is a huge influencer in herself. She's huge on TikTok. She's a business owner here in San Diego. You know, if I would have never invited her in just to say thank you for, I don't even think she knew I was even on SD Network. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just really solidifying those connections. I really had no goal in inviting her in. Like, the treatment was free. I just truly wanted to say thank you because I was so appreciative of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been so wonderful because I've seen her speak at other events now about SD Network. And it's funny because she talks about my business, because her business was building my business. We didn't even know each other.
Neat.
Networking is crazy when you think about it. It's not always standing in front of somebody and feeling awkward. I mean, this was networking that was happening for me behind the scenes that I never knew about. I don't think it would have grown this deep unless I reached out to Sam and all these connections that were made. I mean, you could just be like, oh, cool, and not say anything. That's an option too. But look how much has happened from me just one treatment. I invited her in and said thank you. That was it.
And genuine. I mean, I think one of the qualities that you have is that you're very genuine. You know, and so people can sense, like, there wasn't ulterior motives. It was like, I generally just want to treat you. I want to say thank you. And you know, I'm so grateful for this. And it wasn't like, you're like, okay, boss, so by the way, because if you really wanted that, you would have said that at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think being genuine and being transparent with people, they won't think that you're salesy and something's up, because you're not trying to sneak something in there. You're just genuine.
Yeah, you don't want to make somebody feel like there's something more to you that they haven't figured out yet. You know, I think that really laying it out there and just being so appreciative, like, it just really solidified that, okay, we're two businesswomen in San Diego. We have the same ideas. She owns a networking group. Like, she knows if people are coming off salesy, okay? She's very, very intelligent. And so I just think you have to be cautious with how you're coming off to people. People can feel desperation. And we know that you're desperate in the beginning trying to find clients, but don't make it about that. Don't
Make up the person. Make up the person you're talking to.
Yes. Put the energy into being clear about what your business is and not selling it to everybody. You're not selling yourself to everybody. You're just networking, explaining what your business is.
Just talking to people.
Your eyes is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. I know this episode is going to help so many people because I teach this a lot on this podcast. I teach this a lot to my clients, but it's so nice to see a person who's taken these skills. I mean, you naturally had these skills, and then anything I helped you with as well, and then you just took it and ran, and you just really took it seriously.
Yeah, I think just this last year, I really realized, like, okay, I know how to network, and even if you're terrified of doing it, just try, because it doesn't have to be that creepy event. It doesn't have to be, this cringe situation. I feel like once I start talking about networking, I think of all these other connections and all this like intertwined connection with other people. And Sam and Callie are best friends, for example. Like, for all I know, when I invited Sam in for that free treatment, she probably went to Callie and was like, if you haven't gone yet, you got to go,
See.
And just, putting yourself out there. It doesn't have to be that scary. It can be a little scary.
Yeah. And again, I think this is something that you naturally are good at, for sure. And you're willing to try. I think your willingness to try really is what has set you apart from other esthetician business owners that opened their business at the same time as you.
Yeah.
Like, you were willing to try, you were willing to learn, you were willing to fail, you're willing to be uncomfortable, you were willing to be like, I thought that conversation was a 2 out of 10, like you said earlier. Like, you're willing to do that because you see the forest through the trees, or the trees through the forest. I don't know, whatever, but you could see it. You knew that it would work if you just did it. You didn't necessarily be like, well, this one conversation has to lead to a booking. You never had that expectation.
Yeah, no, if you have that expectation, you're going to come off sounding like you have an ulterior motive, and you just don't want that to be the forefront. Like, you're looking for clients. We all know it, but won't make the other person feel uncomfortable about it. Okay.
Yeah. And if you're trying to get a booking from a conversation with an acquaintance or a stranger, now again, it's about you. It's not about them. And we're trying to build relationships and build connections, and that makes it about them, not about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to say? I know we're totally over on time. Thank you so much for giving me over an hour of your time.
That's everything. It was so great. I love being on the podcast so much.
You'll be back, I'm sure, because you have so much, again, you are a wonderful student, and you are willing to learn things and try things and be willing to like make mistakes. And even like, I know you said that it was hard time making mistakes at the beginning of your business, but then when you realized like, oh, I can actually do these things, like the sky is the limit for you.
Yeah. Just, your option is to either sit at home and hope clients find you, which we know, not a great option.
I'm gonna find you.
Or do the hard stuff. So get to it.
Yeah. And you're on track to making $100,000 this year.
Yeah. Yep. I think I'll probably surpass it. So
yes, you're going to definitely surpass it. You're going to hit it pretty quickly, actually. Yeah. So it's so phenomenal. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you, not only as a former client, but as a friend.
Yeah, I just adore you. You've changed my life so many times. You helped me clear my acne. You helped me when I became an esthetician. And like, it's just wild. I'm like, what's next? What's next?
Yeah, no, it's great. And it's like one of those things, if you think back to my business when I was an esthetician and I built a relationship with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you were a great client, but I treated you well. I gave you a lot of attention, a lot of love, a lot of nurturing. I treated you like you were a special client to me. I would have never known in the future what would come of that, right? And so, and obviously there's some clients that I had the same I gave the same to that I never saw again, you know? And so that is just how it goes. But look what has come of a relationship that started in 2018. Like, I don't know how many years ago was that? Like 6 years now? 7 years? I don't even know. 7?
Yeah.
6 years. Yeah. So 6 years. You never know.
Yeah. You never know. And relationships are everything. It's not always about business. Like, we don't necessarily do business together, but look how our businesses are working together now, you know?
It is. Yeah, when I came to San Diego, we had dinner or whatever. It was a happy hour. I don't even know. It was so fun. Yeah, and again, that was the like, but also you were like, you're in San Diego. I'm going to see you. When is it the time? I'll make myself available. Like, but again, that's like relationship building. Like being like, I'm going to make this happen. And then when I was living in California and you was Space Reality, I was like, when are you going to be there? I'm going to come see you. You know, and so that's relationship building. So me.
Gotta put the time in, you gotta put the work in. You just have to do a full send with it. I just feel like once you commit to it, just go with it, keep going with it, because we already have imposter syndrome and all these other things that are working against us. So you got to build your business. So just boots up, ready to go.
Full send. That's where we're going to end it today. You got to do a full send. Is that a new term that I'm not aware of?
I think it's actually an old one, but
I need people to tell me these things. I'm like a mom in my world talking about princesses all day. So I really need this information.
my young influencers will tell me if I'm right or wrong when they listen.
Okay, let me know. Okay. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so happy to see you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk soon. Okay, bye.
Hey, if you like this podcast, please rate and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to. I cannot tell you how much that helps my podcast grow. So you can click 5 stars if you like it and you want to give me 5 stars. And please leave a review about telling me why you like it so that I can help other estheticians grow their business. Thank you so much.